Delivering great tasting product to your customers is important. Saving energy, space, and improving operational efficiencies is good for your bottom line. A perfect choice for convenience retailers, Adande Refrigeration's patented modular units deliver so many efficiencies it's no wonder brands such as Sheetz and GetGo are installing these temperature-stable, hold-to-cold fridges across their U.S. food courts. When it comes to refrigeration, convenience is at the very heart of Adande Refrigeration. Learn how you can excel in food service, save time, space, and energy with Adande Refrigeration at adande.co.uk or adande.com. Professionals in the know, choose Adande. You're listening to Shop Talk Live, the podcast, brought to you by Global Convenience Store Focus. Shop Talk Live is a unique video and podcast series featuring senior retail executives in the global convenience, fuels, and mobility retail industry, hosted by Dan Munford and Carolyn Schneer. Welcome to Shop Talk Live, the podcast. I'm Carolyn Schneer. In this episode, we're taking a trip to the Middle East North Africa region, commonly called MENA region, or the GCC for Gulf Cooperation Council. This region is quickly becoming a global center for growth and innovation. Continued focus on economic diversification across the region has resulted in the development of world-class retail. We'll hear from Amged ElHanbali, head of retail at Ola Energy. Ola Energy operates across the MENA region, and Amged will give us a quick introduction on the business and his look forward to the future, exploring new format layouts, segmentation, and real estate. Amged will also talk about the importance of shifting focus from product and supply to the customer-centric approach, especially as it comes to the transition to electric vehicles. I hope you enjoy this episode, and certainly go to our website, globalconveniencestoreFocus.co.uk, to see this video in its entirety on episode number 54.
Well, today we're focused on MENA. We're talking to one of the exciting companies. It's a pleasure to have them on Shop Talk Live, Ola Energy. They'll be joining us soon in their journey in retail. On this journey, I'm joined by my very good friend Nikolay, who's calling in from Dubai this morning.
Hi, Dan. Hey, great to be here.
Always great to work with you, Nikolay. So you're regional director, MENA for Shopworks. You're also NAC's relationship partner for the same region. Busy times.
Yeah, exactly. And this region is an exciting one, and so many different formats, so many different retailers, and a lot of innovation. And we will discuss that today, I hope, as well.
So when I think about Ola Energy, I mean, we've been watching them for years. We've covered them in Global C-Store Focus in terms of articles, but I see them as the MENA EG group. I mean, do you think that's fair?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think the broad scale of the operations, a lot of countries in very different geographies, very different markets, but this idea of bringing so many different reasons for customers to come and so many different offers and brands. And I'm sure Amged will talk about this, but yeah, definitely, I would agree that it is, the EG of the MENA region.
Very good. Well, let's get our first guest on. Let's welcome Amged ElHanbali, head of retail at Ola Energy, to Shop Talk Live. Welcome, Amged.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
Very well. Well, it's a pleasure.
Good.
We've been wanting to get you on the show for a while, so pleasure to have the chance to to talk to you. We've had lots of conversations offline and so on. But yeah, you're busy, aren't you, Amged?
Yeah, actually, thank you very much for the invite. Really, I do love Shop Talk. I always, see what's new about the industry. So it's a great opportunity to be here. And definitely, as you described, we are operating as Ola Energy actually in 17 countries, 1,400 service stations across Africa. And we are in North Africa as well, Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco. So we are covering the North Africa, the West Africa, and even the East Africa. We have a very diversified environment of running our business.
You do. Just so everyone, I think, in the audience gets an idea for the scale of your business. So it's 1,400 sites across the MENA region, thereabouts, isn't it? And again, how many countries? Just list the countries that you're in, Amged, because I think it's very interesting just to be specific.
Yeah, it's 17 countries actually. We are in Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Chad, Reunion, actually, Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal, Niger, Gabon, Eritrea. So it's a big, scale, yeah.
Now we've been hearing about the retail journey. Let's ask you to talk about it. Let's hear about your journey, the Ola Energy journey.
Really interesting journey, moving from the product and supply focus till the customer centric. And right now, all our sites, if you gotta, we will see actually do have a drive-through. We do have a great brands, C-Store, Marhaba. We do have a Starbucks, Burger King, Krispy Kreme. So it's even when it comes to the service, actually the car wash and the tire, it become branded services, actually partnering with some partners actually which support the full kind of service with a lot of authenticity and a lot of that professional way of doing the service. So it's become more customer service. So, but first I would like that when we thought about retail, what is retail? Retail, we have to think as a real estate and a marketeers, because retail, it's all about that real estate use consuming capital, investing, and then looking to the customer side and how you are going to serve the customer within your premises and your real estate. And I always love to start with the consumer when it comes to the marketing side. And we have to take into consideration going forward here that there is a change for the new segmentation actually right now, the generation Z coming to the equation, and those actually are potential customers for the fuel business and for the backward business going forward. And why I'm saying that, because 20 years ago when we started that to look at the business, actually we have done a survey and we asked the consumers actually what you are expecting from the C-Store, and they said that we need a fast service, we need a cleanliness, we need quality, big assortment. So actually the same definition is still valid, but we have to focus on the different meanings, because fast, it's different meaning for Z generation right now. Fast for them, it's how I'm going to place an order fast on an application. Friendly for them, how I'm going to place an order a friendly online website, minimize my clicks, that if you gotta put me, that to place an order in 4 clicks, how we are going to make it only 2 clicks. So this is what we are looking for. So it's all data driven, and we have to be mindful going forward actually and shaping our retail actually to the new segmentation, taking that into consideration, tailor to them the offering, and definitely the human touch should be there. And let's not to forget the magic of names. If you look at Starbucks right now, they just create a big, that success by adding your name on the cup. So the customers, even if they are Z generation, they love actually all those kind and this type of engagement. And I believe that the engagement nowadays, we have to give them the environment and to give them the opportunity for the engagement to share their experience actually via the social media, via their capabilities actually through the platforms. And definitely they are after the drive-through and how we are going to get them fast in and out from our sites. I believe that we are really going forward to the future, but the same, that all terminologies are there, but we have to identify the different new meanings for this. When it comes, as I said, fast is totally different for the new perspective. When it comes to the friendly, we have to have different perspective. Engagement, it is not a face-to-face, but it's more toward, that the social media, and give them more stories that they can share and they can really use and to be part of their texture that life actually as we go.
I think that's a great way of looking at it. Nico, would you agree? The words haven't changed in a way, fast and friendly, but the definition of the words in our modern context need to change.
Yeah, exactly. Some people say that we went full circle from, in the beginning of 20th century when you have, really stop at the garage back then, right? So to, do the minimum service and, check the oil and so on, you're spending, half an hour there before you continue your journey. And now you went full circle to the EVs that's spending also half an hour and you can order, additional services there. But definitely I like the idea of, consumer-led business and trying to find ways to get people in your real estate, not because they need fuel, because right now industry has monopoly on fuel, but it will not have it on EVs, right? You can charge anywhere. So what are those reasons? What are those consumer needs that we can fulfill? And then by doing that, bring people to the real estate that we own, right?
It is not clear for me actually, because one of the challenges that if you look at for Burkina, for example, for Niger, you will find 95% of the car population, it's a used cars coming from Europe. So I'm always wondering that if the whole Europe actually moved toward the EV, what will be the source of the cars? What type of cars is going to be supplied and delivered to Africa? So actually, this might be the question, but I believe that if you gotta take all those elements, I believe that it's going to be not that slow as some people actually predict. I believe that we are going to be there in North Africa very soon. We are talking about, you will see in the presentation, we are talking about 5 to 7 years. It will be a significant, and Africa actually it might be maximum 10-15 years maximum.
That's a really fascinating point there when you think about it, Amged, isn't it, in terms of the used car pool and where that's going to come from? Because obviously if we see the car park in Europe changing dramatically over the next decade, should we say, which is a fair number, there won't be a car park, then we'll have a consequence, won't we, after another 10 years, so that's perhaps 20 years out, but we'll have a consequence of a real constriction of supply.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, actually, I believe the main challenge actually for having this in Africa going forward, especially in West Africa and East Africa going down, actually, it's about the grid and the capacity of having the electricity itself. This is one of the challenges that we might face there, actually. And it might be an opportunity for us actually as an energy company to start to think differently when it comes to this type of change.
Very good.
So actually for the real estate, as I said, it's if you look at the second pillar of the retail, it's the real estate, and we have to start to think about that. And to a great extent, I'm always saying that the 80-20 rule is so valid and so vivid. If you look at any network, actually, you'll find 20 to 25% of the network are generating 75 to 80% of the bottom line. Actually, they are in the focus market. They are pursuing the best opportunity to attract the consumers. And it is not anymore about the traffic count of cars. We are studying the neighborhood right now, the population density, the type of journey actually, and what's needed within those neighborhood. And then we tailor actually the offering across the neighborhood. So this is one of our sites. You will find the site Continental Tire, Marhaba, Ola Energy Fuel, KFC drive-through, Pizza Hut, Wimpy, and Starbucks. So if you look at this site at night, guys, it's a huge, massive, that hangout place for all the young people. So the tiering concept actually, and building tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you start to think about, that each tier, how you are going to build the right offering. Let's be a real estate, that mindset, whatever is going to be needed in this area. If it is a gym, if it is a sushi bar, we are opening the first sushi bar in Cameroon actually in July. So it will be a massive, that opening in one of our sites. We have banking at the same site. We built the mall actually in part of the site with the fuel, and we have all good food, and we have a Spar supermarket actually there with our. So let's be open, even if it is a business work, it's a real estate. Our ultimate objective, how we are going to make the consumers coming to our sites 3 times per day. Let them rely on us actually to come in the morning and come, that in the evening, and having, the place between office and. So retail going forward, and I called it RGF actually, retail going forward. So right now we succeeded to be the hangout place, and we created the retail hub, and we would like to build more and more on that. But going forward, actually, as we discussed, guys, around 2025, 2030, I would see that we have to focus more on the drive-through. We are going to make our C-stores drive-through as well. And the main challenge we are having right now, and it might be a good discussion for Craig and Nico guys actually as well, because they are telling me, Amged, you would like to put screen on at the forecourt within the pump and let the consumer order during the fueling time, and then they pick the product from the C-store. What about if the customer is going to ask for a pack of cigarette or something? So it's a lot of challenges, but I believe that we have to move there. We have to have better swapping, and I believe that the two-wheelers, coming back to the Africa discussion, that the two-wheelers actually is massive in Africa.
Yeah.
Go in Africa, this is a massive, and it's going to be booming, and I believe that is going to be ahead of vehicles actually, and four-wheelers to be there. And we have some studies right now how we are going to look at the battery swapping, because as we said, that the grid is going to be challenging in Africa. So if you do have a battery swapping actually opportunity, that you give them the battery which is 100% charged, this is going to be a solution for this type of challenge there.
And you want these customers, don't you? Because they're swapping their batteries, but they're also in the KFC or in the Starbucks or in the Wendy's or all the other retail destination offers that you've got in your hangout, location, if you like.
Absolutely. As I believe, Dan, you touched on a very important point, that all those kind of attracting customers to our sites, it's a step as a destination driver, and then it's our role how we are going to convert them to a real customers at our backcourt. And this is the real success, that it's the second purchase point, not the planned purchase coming to the site, I believe. So this is when it comes to the 25, 2030. But actually beyond that, actually, as we said, if you look at the first slide, as we have seen, moving the retail from different categories, focusing on the fuels as a dominant category, moving toward the fuels. I believe that within the future, that the fuels is going to be a prominent category. And you will find our new layouts actually moving from using the data and the segmentation, moving from something like this, having, that the C-store and the QSRs and the brands at the front of the site. And in front, actually at the ultimate front, you will find EV charging everywhere. And then the fuels actually is going to be at the back behind the C-store business. And I believe that this is the transitional layout should go actually within the region right now. And we should support this as much as we can as we go. And definitely, I'm not talking about only changing in the role of the category, but even, that creating the new functions that we described, that you can order even when you are fueling and get your order from the whole site, and convert the whole site to a really one integrated experience, regardless of how many brands you are there. So in a nutshell, that's it. This is the new layout. This is the focus on the real estate and the consumer, and consider the new consumer and the new changes which are taking place for our industry, guys. Coming back to you guys.
How exciting! I've got a thought on this. Nico, you go first.
Sure. I think it's so important that petrol station business, and Ola Energy is at the forefront of it, has become a destination, a place where it's not only refueling, it's not only fuel, but there's so many other things to do, right? And it's a great building block on which we need to build on and transition into the future and create all those additional reasons.
Well, I think I've got a nice segue to the next section, but let's give it a roll. So I guess the exciting thing in a way, Amged, about the position that you're in across your markets is that you perhaps have, and you correct me if I'm wrong about this, but you perhaps have more opportunity to create these really big sites, new sites, new to market sites than some of the markets we work in. And if we look at the Saudi Arabian opportunity, and again, I won't quote the numbers. I don't know whether you want to reveal the numbers on the expansion of the forecourt sector in Saudi that you guys at Shopworks predict. But obviously, if the opportunity in markets like Saudi Arabia is that if the forecourt network is going to expand quite considerably, then you can actually take a much more future-looking perspective on that design and development of those increasingly bigger sites.
Really starting this and having even the discussion here in Shop Talk on this market, because this market really, I would love to see this market taking the right steps to the future. If you look at the layouts right now, combining the drive-through concept and experience they do have, combining that Saudi Arabia is investing in EV factories right now, and they are pushing, that the EV cars and vehicles to be there. So I believe that we should start in Saudi Arabia with something like this layout, having the drive-through concept up front and the fuel at the back, and to start, the journey. So it's a 2030 for Saudi Arabia right now.
Nico, you'd agree with that? That's fabulous. Thank you, Amged. You'd agree with that, Nico?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the market is going. It's actually leapfrogging some of the development that other markets going slowly through phase by phase. But I think in Saudi it will be very quick development. And right now the main kind of task is to really bring up the food and coffee and the convenience business. But then the step of tomorrow, or even by the end of today, it will be how to convert to EVs and how to future-proof your locations for that.
Yeah, I think that, obviously with the 2030 strategy, the government are very focused on the EV opportunity, aren't they? And if the government are very focused on it, then it's going to happen exactly. in Saudi Arabia. We've had a great overview of Ola Energy's retail journey, and it looks increasingly exciting. So Amged, thank you very much for being our guest. Thanks very much for joining us, and really enjoyable discussion.
Thank you for listening to Shop Talk Live, the podcast. This episode was produced by Dan Munford and Nick Scherzer with support from Jenna Ferguson and Lorraine Evans. It was produced, edited, and mixed by Carolyn Schneer, and music was provided by Wolfgang Worley. Tune in every other week for new episodes, and please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And learn more at globalconveniencestorefocus.co.uk.